Dear Aunt Flo is a podcast about bad periods, and I'm your host, Elisa Michelle. Every month, we'll dive deep into my own vaginal monologues as I discuss my journey with endometriosis and share stories that we wish someone would have warned us about sooner. I am your new period BFF, so let's get comfortable speaking about our cycles. All right, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Dear Aunt Flo. It has been a while, yes, probably like a little over a month, 2 months now at this point, but that's okay. We're here, we're back, kinda. This episode is a bit of a cry for help because I finally found an endometriosis specialist, yay me, who doesn't want to remove my uterus. But she is out of network. So yeah, before we get into that, if you're new here or just joining our period party, welcome. Whether you listen or watch on YouTube, I hope that you interact with us. Share this with a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe at Elisa_Michelle to get all the notifications when we do drop our new episodes, which we will be doing more frequently soon. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or Substack now, because we added Substack to the list, please take a few minutes to leave us a review. Let us know how you found us, what you think about us, and by us I mean me. Yes, all of those good things. And you can follow us on Instagram at dearauntflo.pod. All right, I think that's all the introductions. Let's get into our letter to Aunt Flo. Dear Aunt Flo, I think I'm beginning to feel hope again. That's crazy. I mean, it's simultaneously happening while also feeling despair, but I have hope that things can actually get better. Sincerely fed up, Elisa Michelle. Okay, so yes, back to the reason why we are here today. I found a specialist, but she is out of network, so she is not under my insurance, and I've already spent thousands of dollars on the consultations, the imaging, the follow-up appointments, just to get to the point of surgery. And after some thought, and after fighting some of my pride, my husband and I started a fundraiser through GoFundMe to help pay for the surgery. If it was up to me, the GoFundMe description would have been a lot more sarcastic and also educational, which makes sense because that's just my personality, and that's how I've been sharing my story through this podcast, through social media, in person if you meet me. It's, I guess, my way of bringing a little levity to the situation at hand. It is a shitty situation to be in, and so just being able to, I don't know, have a sense of humor through it all helps, oddly enough. So when I wrote the first draft, my husband told me it sounded more like my podcast episodes than a personal outcry. But like in my mind, people like storytelling, right? Like, it just seemed like the best way to share my story and also ask for help. But he thought that it leaned more towards bitterness because of my experiences with doctors and insurance and just the overall disdain for the medical system in America. And like, hello. But I literally started the GoFundMe description like it was a BET uncut movie. But that's how most movies start on BET, and it felt like my life currently is like a movie. So here we are. I'm 36 with a frozen uterus due to deep infiltrating endometriosis. So my uterus doesn't move. I didn't even know the term, or not the term, I didn't know the fact that your uterus is like a movable organ, right? Like she should be going. She should be free. And mine is not free, mine is stuck. Mine is attached to my bladder, my rectum. it is overtaken by cysts and polyps and fibroids and fluid. There's a lot going on in there. And it seems like such a small area for so much to be happening. On top of endo, I also have adenomyosis, which is endo and ando. So that's fun. Adenomyosis is when the tissue of the lining grows into the uterine wall. So endometriosis is when tissue similar to the lining grows outside of the lining of your uterus. Endo is when tissue grows into the uterine wall. So it is just overtaking all of my organs at this point. For those of you who are freshly new to this podcast, I have shared my story openly from beginning to end, but I'm just going to go through again just to refresh everyone's memory, to relive my own trauma, and just to give you a bit of a more, I guess, overall synopsis of what's happening, how we got here, and what's next. So I have been dealing with endometriosis for the betterment of 7 years now, since about 2018, unofficially. And I say unofficially because you have to have an excision surgery to be diagnosed officially. And I have not had a surgery yet, coming soon. I've only had a clinical diagnosis and a diagnosis through imaging. So it's suspected that I have stage 4 endometriosis, which is pretty much the highest stage. It's like a cancer. It grows wherever it wants, it does whatever it wants, and that's what mine is doing currently. So it started with the never-ending period. Literally went on for months. Heavy bleeding all day, every day. I felt like the woman in the Bible who just longed to touch the hem of his garment to be healed because it was just free-flowing every day, all day long. And I could not pinpoint what was happening. And after seeing a few doctors, one finally ordered an ultrasound for me that showed one singular polyp. One polyp causing all of that bleeding. So that led to me having an outpatient surgery almost a year later. And in that surgery, they removed 6 polyps. 6. So that imaging showed 1, and they removed 6 when they actually went in for the surgery. So after that, the painful periods ensued. Every single month, like clockwork. I'd have to call out of work multiple times a month because I literally just could not get out of the bed. That kind of pain just takes over your entire body. You can't think straight. I couldn't eat food without it causing a flare-up or inflammation. I couldn't plan ahead because I never knew how my body was going to react on any given day. I couldn't get pregnant. And for the past 7 years, I've been trying to make my voice heard. So I started this podcast in 2024 to openly share my story about my period and my fertility journey in hopes that if anyone else was out there in the world that was experiencing this, we could trauma bond together. But also learn how to better advocate for ourselves. The last couple of years, however, have really taken a toll on my quality of life. And today, this condition has led to more complications and growths inside my body, no longer just in my uterus. And it is a lot. So I have fibroids, I have multiple cysts, I have an endometrioma, I have another singular polyp, I have endometrial adhesions to my ovaries, fallopian tubes, I have fluid in my tubes, and now I have fluid and multiple cysts in my abdomen. I've gone through countless doctors who either dismissed my symptoms, prescribed birth control, or hormones that would put me on menopause. In menopause, they wanted to send me off to the land of hysterectomies. I mean, I'm 36. I've never been pregnant, and most doctors don't really care to preserve that part of you. They see an issue. They think that the only way to resolve that issue is to completely remove your entire uterus or hop you up on drugs instead of finding the problem and fixing it, regardless if you want kids or not. Your uterus is a part of your body. It is an organ that is a part of your body. You were born with this as a part of your body. It is you. To just haphazardly want to remove something that is a part of you and not get to the root cause of that just didn't sit right with me. Endometriosis is a full body disease. So along with all of my painful and immobilizing cramps during my cycle, which comes every 30 days, some people it comes every 21 days. For some people it comes every 35 days. There's no one size fits all, but mine comes every 30 days. It lasts for 10 to 14 of those days. It affects my digestion, my hormones, whether or not I ovulate. I don't ovulate, by the way. It hinders my ability to work. It limits my quality of life. It affects my mental and physical health. Hello, thank God for therapy. It's 2 a.m. bathroom cry sessions. It's constant brain fog. It's anxiety at the start of every single period. It's numerous canceled plans. And that's just the short list. In January of this year, some of you already know this, I was admitted to the hospital for about 3 days after the ER doctor found an 8-centimeter cyst on my left ovary. It turned out that I had a uterine infection, potentially caused by a procedure that I had at the end of last year called a hysterosalpingogram, where they check the condition of your tubes to see whether or not they're open. I hadn't been able to get pregnant for the year that we'd been married, and I wanted to know why. Afterwards, after the hospital stay, it got worse. So I spent a dreadful 2 weeks on antibiotics. I was disoriented. I was extremely fatigued. I had no appetite whatsoever. I was a shell of myself. And from then on, for the past 7 months, I've had a persistent distended stomach where I look like I'm about 3 months pregnant, and I'm not. And on top of that, still having the horrible cycles. And anytime I would try to tell my doctors, they would tell me that this is par for the course. This is endometriosis. This is what you're going to experience until you have a surgery. This is what you're going to experience until you have a hysterectomy. Unfortunately, this is what you're going to experience until you can get pregnant and have a child, and then it will change. That is not correct information. And if anyone is telling you to get pregnant, to have a hysterectomy, to go on Lupron, to put you in menopause, run for the hills and find a new doctor. If you have endometriosis and they schedule you and say you're trying to get pregnant and they schedule you to have a hysterosalpingogram, seek a second opinion to see if there is an alternative way of doing that procedure where they're not shooting fluid into your cervix, because that fluid may remain there and then start seeping into your abdomen and other places where it does not belong. Fast forward to now, after a couple of referrals from friends and my therapist, I finally found a specialist, an endometriosis specialist, and of course she's out of network. But my husband and I scheduled a consultation. From that consultation, she immediately ordered an ultrasound. And this ultrasound led to the tech calling the specialist while she was on vacation after discovering that I have multiple cysts in my abdomen. Now, this is where I found all of that out. So for the past 7 months, I've been complaining about this distended stomach, the extra bloating, the discomfort, and the ultrasound showed why that is happening now. And this tech, bless her heart, she was ready to take me to the ER. So after she was finished with the ultrasound, she calmly said, I want you to get dressed. I want you to go wait out into the waiting room. I saw something that is of concern, and I don't want you to panic. I'm going to call the doctor. I'm going to go over it with her and see what she says, but you might need to go to the ER. Like, when you tell someone not to panic, their first reaction is to panic. But because God, I did not panic, and I got dressed. I went out into the waiting room. I waited for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. mean, it seemed like forever, but it was actually kind of quick. She came back in, she gave the doctor my phone number, and the doctor was going to call me in a couple minutes. And she did. She called me, she went over everything, she told me my options, and she said, overall, you need surgery. And so my initial surgery was set for the end of October, which we were going to push until next year. But she said, you need surgery sooner. And so I met with her the following week. We were able to find a new date, and now my surgery is set for the end of September, which is in a little over 30 days. She answered all my questions, and we went over everything. And like, most importantly, like, she didn't want to take my uterus. She didn't want to give me hysterectomy. She didn't want to remove my tubes. She didn't want to remove my ovaries. She wanted to remove the root cause of the problem. And that's all I've been asking for the past 7 years, to someone to look at the root cause of the problem and remove it. So that's what she's going to do. With this specialist, we have been exploring alternative options for our insurance not covering the costs. They've already denied my office consultations. They've denied the imaging with the ultrasound. And all of this despite not having someone capable in network to provide these needs, right? They say, this is your condition, we have people who can treat it. And I say, this is my condition, you don't have people who can treat it. You have people who want to put you on drugs or want to remove an organ from your body that does not need to be removed. And that, to me, is not care. That's not compassion. That is not help. So we found someone that we think and trust that can give me my life back, that can have compassion on us, and that knows my body, knows the ins and outs of endometriosis, and can help. And so that's where we are now, a little over 30 days until surgery, and it's going to cost more than we can afford out of pocket. So I don't take lightly asking for help. I hate doing it. Like, it literally, I hate doing this, but I need help because this is just where we are, and I need the surgery, and ask not, get not, right? So the upfront cost alone for just the surgeon is $10,000. And then the remaining bill and ongoing care, we're overall asking for $25,000. And thank God we have raised so far almost $9,000. And I am just like, I've been a blubbering mess. I've been crying every day for, I don't know, the past 3 weeks of all, like, this has all happened in a span of 4 weeks. I've been dealing with this for 7 years. And in the past 4 weeks of the consultations, the imaging, the follow-up appointments, and the surgery being scheduled has been 3 to 4 weeks. Like, I'm mind blown. I've been overwhelmed, and I'm grateful for the donations that have come in so far. If you're not able to give monetarily, there are other ways you can support, like purchasing products from my business, Illustrated Melanin, purchasing art for my husband. I will link all of the links and things in the description below. Or just leave kind words. Seriously, just like, kind words go so far. Like, I've gotten messages from people that I haven't spoken to in years. And just, okay, people have just been very kind and unexpected and got me all in my feels, okay? So yeah, kind words go a long way. What the contribution will go towards is the surgeon, the hospital fees, personal hygiene, like all of the pads that I'm going to need, food, groceries, medications, and then other living expenses, because I'm going to be out of work for at least 4 to 6 weeks in recovery. Yeah, I just like, no one should have to choose between their health and their ability to pay for health care. Like, it's infuriating. It's absolutely absurd. And I feel like it's like my life's mission to alleviate this problem. And like maybe that's why God has put me in this position to experience these things firsthand, so that I know how to fight later. I don't know. It's just kind of what I've been toiling over. But yeah, this hasn't been an easy road. The road's not even over yet. It's not an easy thing to do, to ask people for help, to ask people for money. And I'm so grateful for the support system that I have, and my husband and my family and my friends. I'm grateful to you for just listening to my story, which is the story of so many other women, so many other people with uteruses who are experiencing these painful situations every single month, every single day. And it's not fair and it's not right. So I am grateful for any help that you can provide, whether it's through our GoFundMe, whether it's through purchasing products online or art online, whether it's just leaving kind words below. Like, everything and anything means the world. To my fellow Endo warriors, I see you. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are worthy. Know that you can advocate for yourself. Keep fighting for yourself. Your pain is real. Your experiences are real. Your life matters. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. No one. Now, let's get into our affirmation for this episode. I am loved. Now say it with me. I am loved. I love you. I see you and I hear you. Peace. Hey BFFs, thanks for tuning in to Dear Aunt Flo. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to show support, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. This will help more period BFFs find our community and add to the conversation. Follow on IG at dearauntflo.pod and let me know what topics you'd like to cover this season. Catch you in the next episode, period.